to Leaving Crazy Town with Finn and Sarah. It's been a long day. It's not even 12 yet. But anyway, not that matters. It might be 12 when you watch this. Who knows? But stuff's getting real up in here.
Stuff's getting real.
What are we going to talk about
All
today,
right,
Sarah?
we're talking about... What are we talking about? We're talking about...
Relationships? Speaking up? Oh, God. Ugh.
And this is the thing that I'm going to have a vulnerable moment with everybody is I don't know if I've said this, but I'm in a new relationship. It's been like 4 months long now. And I think
It's very serious.
I think what's so shocking to me and why we're going to share this stuff on this video is that stuff that hasn't been healed that you may think has been healed, or behaviors that you think have been like long gone and done, suddenly you start noticing them again and you're thinking, what happened?
Do you mean suddenly you're noticing things?
I'm noticing things. So Finn
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Sarah Michaud, recovery and relationship expert. So how's it been going, Sarah?
So Finn and I were just talking about really those underlying core beliefs from like childhood that I believe everybody has. Like, you're not good enough, you're not attractive enough.
I'm not lovable.
You're
That's
not lovable. You're not wanted. Everyone's gonna leave you. Like all those things that we recognize in our step work, in our therapy, and whatever. And we're aware of them, but what boggles my mind, and you'll have to tell me how it manifests in your life, when we're talking about speaking up or saying no or setting boundaries and all this stuff we talk about here, I've been so shocked at, and it's funny because I give the example in the book about what restaurant do you want to go to and how like it's hard to speak up. And yet now I'm in this new relationship and it hasn't been about a restaurant, but definitely I'm being asked direct questions. And at first, I was shocked by my inability to immediately just say what I needed. Because all of a sudden I'm like, well, what do they want? With, the classic codependency.
Well, and also, I don't want to interrupt you, but you might be slightly delusional that this isn't an issue for you and it's new. Because I remember a videotape before, and so do most of our longtime listeners, where your brother wanted to go to dinner, and you're like, yeah, Indian food's great. And then you had basically a lettuce leaf and a carrot stick for dinner.
Okay, that was a few years ago, but still, yeah.
I know, it shows up,
true.
but relationships are definitely the worst.
You know what this reminds me of? We were talking about clarity. And one thing in the book I do discuss is when
she says book, if you're a new listener,
right,
by Dr. Sarah Michaud, Co-Crazy, and it is a recovery manual and memoir for codependency.
Yes.
And it's awesome. Check it out. So whenever we're referencing the book, that's what Sarah's talking about.
Okay. So in there, I talk about things that we say sometimes. And one thing we say very often is, I don't care.
I don't care. I was the king of I don't care, let me tell you.
And so we're going to give some examples of, and sometimes, and this is the tricky thing about I don't care, because I've actually said this to my present sweetheart. Sometimes I really don't care. You know what I mean? Like, we had the situation down the Cape recently where he said, why don't you pick the beach today? Which just sounds so crazy, right? And so I said, I don't care what beach we go to. I really don't. Why don't you? And he's like, no, you do it. So what happens? I picked this beach. There was shitloads of people and there were no waves. And so after we're there for a couple hours, he says to me, we're getting ready to leave. And he said, hey, maybe I'll pick the beach the next time. And I'm like, why? And he says, well, I really wanted to go someplace that had waves.
Why didn't he say so?
And I said, why didn't you say something? And he was like, well, I really wanted to give you the opportunity to speak up. So it's just so hilarious. It's always something,
Let's all take care of each other.
Yeah, let's all take care of each other.
I was a true believer in not caring. That I said I don't care, and I believed I don't care. Well, let me tell you something. I know myself much better today.
Yes.
I care. I care about a lot more than you'd think.
Yes.
I mean, I don't care what you're doing on your own time.
Yes, so it's really knowing, though, there are definitely certain things we don't care about, but there are definitely certain things we do.
Yeah.
And when someone asks us a direct question about something, I've noticed, and this is part of co-crazy behavior, that I kind of hesitate, or I run through like really quickly in my head, my response and how it might impact him, or is he gonna, instead of like, what is our mantra on this channel?
What do I want? What do I need?
What do I want? What do I need? What do I think? What do I feel?
Now, sometimes you might be so activated in the moment that you can't really get to that.
Yes. So, really important to be clear with people when you're recovering from codependency and addiction. Just to, number one, identify, what do I think? What do I need? What do I feel? Number two, how can I express it? And notice, wow, am I having some fear around expressing what I need? And how can I work through that?
One of the things that I found helpful when I was first learning to speak up is to say, I'm feeling a little anxious about speaking my truth, or I'm nervous. I don't know why. Even if you know why, like saying, I don't know why, but I'm uncomfortable answering. I'm afraid what I'm going to say is going to be something you don't want. And you kind of pave the way a little bit for them to have compassion for you as well. Even though you can't really control other people's responses, I've always found it easier for me to walk through speaking my truth when I say how I'm feeling about speaking my truth.
Oh, God, that's such a good tool. So when something's uncomfortable, and I've had to do this to say, gosh, I hadn't shared this, and I can't even believe I'm going to admit this to you guys. There have been a couple of times when I haven't said something that later I needed to say. And of course, by then, they're like, well, why didn't you tell me? Well,
there's a book for that, Sarah.
There's a book for that. I had a few feelings about that. So, yes, to say, geez, this is why I didn't tell you. I'm working on this. I was scared about your response. And again, a lot of it is from my past. It has nothing to do with my present relationship.
And I would like to wipe out the delusion that some of you may be having, that, oh, I don't do that. I speak my truth. I only say I don't care when I really don't care. I suspect that you might be full of crap. And the reason is I know how this stuff works.
That's right.
And I know that I truly 100% believed that I didn't care.
Yes.
So I challenge you to think.
Yes.
When you said you don't care, were you later upset with the dinner choice or the restaurant choice? Did you not like the food? Did you wish you went somewhere else? Did you ever end up at the beach without waves and you wanted the beach with waves? Did you ever agree to dinner at 5 but really 7 was better?
Yes.
But you did it and you said okay and you told yourself you didn't care and you made up reasons why it was okay. I just think sometimes in order to know whether or not we really care or don't care is we need to look at how we feel after the fact.
Yes.
What happened? Because that might say, hey, maybe I am someone who says I don't care or agrees to things I don't really want to do, but I'm not aware of it at the time, because I can tell you my fear can turn to a rationalization or a belief so fast that I think it's okay for me to say I don't care and that I really don't care, which isn't true. Because later, I have an uncomfortable feeling around the fact that I said it didn't matter.
Yes, and these expressions, I was just thinking about, when you say I don't care, what it is, it's a fear of what's going to happen in a relationship, how someone's going to respond. The other thing we say is, someone asks us a direct question, we say, I don't know. And a lot of times with that, that's a way we really don't want to get in touch with our own truth because of what that'll mean to us. I've had clients where I've asked them questions about certain relationships or certain charged topics, and they'll just say, I don't know. And really,
I don't know is another.
It's another way to just not face our truth. So whether it's speaking our truth to another human being or recognizing the truth within ourselves, both super important.
We actually just did a very minor one right before this video. So we had done a few videos this morning, and I said, I think I'm done.
Right.
And Sarah said, I'd hope we could do another one, or I'd like to have done another one, or she was hoping. I can't remember the exact words.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, well, I thought about it, like, do I have another recording in me? And I said, oh, okay, we can bang out one more. I said, but I feel like I'm not able to land on a topic. Right. And then we did, and I got excited, and I was able to do it. Yes. In the past, we have done more than one video, several videos in a row, and I wasn't feeling it on the last video, and I actually wouldn't have said anything, but we've kind of gotten into a groove where we can talk with each other, and it seems like a minor thing, but even something that simplistic.
So true.
Where I feel like, I'm so over recording, I'm done, I don't want to do it anymore, but I haven't said anything.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, those videos fall flat. You've probably seen some of them.
So, 2 tools this week to really think about. What arenas in your life do you have a hard time saying your truth? Is it certain people? Is it certain environments? Is it your personal life? Is it your job? Is it with your kids? Where is it hard? What's a little tool or a little something small that you can communicate that you know you would feel better if you could? Number 1. Number 2 is there something you really haven't wanted to get honest with yourself about that may be scary? And just remember, you can get honest with yourself. Doesn't mean you have to take an action step. But sometimes just knowing, is there something you're kind of saying, I don't know, when you really just don't want to look at it, and maybe get some freedom by looking at it. Anything else?
I would say 2 things. One, a good practice thing would be to, if you're in a situation with friends and they say, hey, where do you want to eat? And you typically say, I don't care. Maybe for a while, select something.
Yes.
Doesn't mean they're all going to agree to it. And that was the other thing I was going to say. If you're someone who doesn't speak up anymore because you've been in a relationship, a friendship, intimate relationship with someone who, when you speak up, they don't honor it.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes, because I think part of speaking up is, and this is the thing with needs too, what happens if you actually identify a need and you share it and then you realize the person can't meet your need?
Some people fear doing that because they know that relationship maybe isn't effective.
We don't know. So that's something to look at also. Okay, you guys, we love you. Fasten your seatbelt.
We're out of here.
We're leaving.